In the bitter cold of winter, a baby's cry suddenly echoed from my gate. Just as I was about to open the door to investigate, lines of text appeared before my eyes, as if I were watching a live stream. Look, the evil villainess is about to pick up the female lead's baby. Even though she's wicked, she treats the main couple's child very well. She deserves it. Who told her to steal Anya's man? Now she has to live in the countryside, taking care of the male lead's awful relatives. I'm waiting every day to see our precious little one grow up. Then, the ruthless one will return and choose her own mother. Seeing a stream of long comments before me, I hesitated for a moment, then turned around, pulled the blanket over my head, and went back to sleep. Anya, the woman those comments mentioned, I knew her. She was a young intellectual who came from the city to our countryside. In recent months, Anya seemed to have gained weight. She claimed she was ill and temporarily staying with Kevin to recuperate. Who knew it was actually a pregnancy? And Kevin, my fiancé, was none other than the male lead mentioned in those comments. I didn't care whether those lines of text were real or not, but a baby crying at my doorstep in the dead of night was truly suspicious. I lived alone as a young woman, so I had to be careful. Just as I turned to leave, the lines of text flooded back, even more intensely. What's happening? Why isn't the evil villainess going out? If she doesn't pick up the baby, what will happen to the male and female leads? If she doesn't pick up this baby, how can Kevin and Anya feel at ease going to the city? Exactly. I remember it was because of this child that Lily was falsely accused of having an illegitimate child, had to secretly give birth, and her reputation was ruined. The male lead then used that as an excuse to make her stay in the countryside to care for his terrible relatives and the child. I lay on my bed, watching the comments scroll by with a calm expression, but under the blanket, my hands were clenched into fists. Kevin was someone I'd known since childhood. We had been engaged for a long time. His family was poor, among the poorest in the village. His father was lazy and loved to drink. His mother was stingy and greedy for money. Kevin had an older brother and 2 older sisters. When his baby was born, his family didn't even have a decent bed. Kevin and I were around the same age. My mother slipped and fell into the river during the last months of her pregnancy with me. Fortunately, Aunt Chi, Kevin's mother, managed to save her in time. At that moment, she was also pregnant with Kevin, and saving my mother caused her to give birth prematurely. Thus, he was a month older than me. After our births, Uncle and Aunt Chi said that we were destined for each other, that Kevin had used his life to protect mine, and proposed that we become in-laws from childhood. My parents agreed out of gratitude for the life-saving grace, and from then on, Kevin and I were betrothed. From childhood, Kevin had always been frail, and his family frequently used the life-saving grace as an excuse to make demands. Before they passed away, my parents always treated Kevin like their own son. Because of his poverty and being the youngest, he was often in need. It was my parents who raised him and provided for him extensively. Out of gratitude for his mother, I always shared anything good I had with him. Later, my parents died in a car accident, leaving behind compensation money. I used that money to pay for his entire high school education. My family had long repaid that past kindness. If those words were true, Kevin was nothing short of an ungrateful traitor. I lay on my bed, reading the comments and pondering everything, when suddenly there was a knock at the door. The comments on screen flared up again, clamoring. Aha, the male lead is here. As expected, he's still worried about his child, always watching silently from afar. That evil villainess is truly heartless, hearing the baby's cries and still ignoring them. No wonder the male lead doesn't like her. She's both malicious and foolish. It's infuriating. I really don't want to see Lily's face anymore. When will this wicked woman just disappear? I slipped on my slippers and stepped out into the yard. The man outside, hearing the movement, stopped knocking. Lily, open the door quickly. I have something important to tell you. Kevin's voice sounded rushed, but not loud, as if he feared others might overhear. Inside, I sneered, but outwardly, I feigned hesitation. Kevin, in the middle of the night like this, it must be something very important, right? Though I said this, I kept the door firmly shut. What a wicked villainess. Didn't she hear the male lead knocking? Doesn't she see the baby is almost frozen to death? So pitiful for little Gung. Seeing that I had no intention of opening the door, Kevin outside finally lost his patience. Lily, it's a big problem. Open the door first and I'll tell you. Kevin, if there's something to say, just say it out here. I'm a young woman, opening the door for a man in the middle of the night wouldn't look good. Even if we're engaged, we should still be discreet, shouldn't we? I made an excuse to refuse. Frankly, if I opened the door and let the baby in, tomorrow morning people would certainly gossip. What if Kevin took this opportunity to cling to me? Kevin hadn't expected me to be so firm. His already annoyed expression now clearly showed his irritation. But since I wouldn't open the door, he had to lower his voice to persuade me. I couldn't sleep, so I was walking around and saw a baby at your doorstep. The poor child is crying so hard, almost fainting. Please open the door and let us in, then make something for the baby to eat. Oh, how could that be? Who would abandon a child right at my doorstep? I was just asleep, so I didn't hear anything. I feigned surprise, then shifted to worry. Kevin, I don't know anything about caring for children. Besides, who would abandon a child here in the middle of the night? Your family has many sisters, and Aunt Chi surely has experience. Why don't you take the baby home first and ask your aunt to look it over? Don't delay. After all, it concerns a human life. Kevin hadn't expected me, who had always been obedient, to refuse so bluntly. His already frowning face now looked even more irritated, but since I wouldn't open the door, he reluctantly lowered his voice again. My mother is old and frail. I think this baby will be fine. How about it stays with you for one night, and tomorrow we can go ask the village chief how to resolve it? That's not a good idea, Kevin. How about I call our neighbor, Hannah, for help? She just had a baby recently. I'll go ask if she has any experience. Hannah's house was only separated by a wall, so I could clearly hear what was said on the other side. And just as I expected, Kevin immediately refused. No, don't bother, Hannah. If you don't want to, I'll take the baby home to my mother first. Yes, yes, please be careful on your way. Only when I heard Kevin's footsteps fade completely did I dare to breathe a sigh of relief. The comments on the screen had been boiling with indignation this whole time. Why isn't this villainess following the storyline? Did the author change the script? Am I the only one who thinks the villainess is doing the right thing? Why should she suffer, raising the main couple's child, and be tormented to ruin by the male lead's family? Guys, don't bring moral standards into reading stories. This is a sweet romance novel. If the villainess doesn't sacrifice herself, how can the male and female leads get into university and have their sweet romance? Don't you dare cut that part. Exactly, exactly. If I have to analyze right and wrong while reading, I'm just reading for entertainment. I prefer to see the main couple madly in love. Sacrifice one villainess for an entire happy family? What's wrong with that? I ignored those comments, just lay sprawled on the bed, sighing. So much had happened in such a short time that I was still reeling. All night I stared at the comments, and gradually I realized I was living inside a sweet romance novel from the last decade. The female lead in the story, Anya, was a young intellectual who came from high city to the countryside. She was the gentle, fair-skinned, pampered since childhood type, so when she came to the village, she didn't know how to do anything. Due to a lack of housing, Anya was assigned to stay at Kevin's house. The weak female lead, not wanting to lift a finger, took notice of the handsome and capable young man, Kevin, and found every way to depend on him. Initially, Kevin had no feelings for her, but gradually he became attracted. When the university entrance exams reopened, both of them passed and were admitted to High City University. But cruelly, just before that, Anya discovered she was pregnant. At first, they planned to quietly terminate the pregnancy, but the doctor told Anya that her health wasn't good. If she aborted, she might never be able to become a mother again. Helpless, Anya had to use the excuse of recuperating from an illness to hide. For months, she didn't step foot outside the house, secretly giving birth. Just as people speculated, they planned to give the baby to me to raise, both to relieve themselves of the burden and to tarnish my reputation, making me willingly accept marrying into the Chi family to live a life of endless toil. In the story, although I married Kevin, the wedding was a shoddy affair with only a few simple meals, and there wasn't even a marriage certificate. Immediately after the wedding, Kevin went to High City to enroll in university. I was completely unaware that he and Anya had secretly married in the city. I stayed in the village, taking on the responsibility of caring for that hateful family, enduring all hardships for the rest of my life. Meanwhile, Kevin only returned home once a year for holidays. Each time, he would utter bitter words, calling me a country bumpkin, saying that if I came to the city, I would embarrass him and make him an object of scorn. Just like that, I was deceived by them for an entire lifetime. Thinking of this, a surge of rage made me tremble uncontrollably. I only wished I could eradicate the entire Chief family that very night, but I knew the time wasn't right yet. The most important thing now was to break off my engagement with Kevin and expose his and Anya's true faces. This time, they wanted to scheme against me, and I would certainly demand everything back 100-fold. The next morning, I woke up very early. I deliberately walked past the old banyan tree at the village entrance, the gathering spot for the nosiest women in the hamlet. Seeing me walking hurriedly, Mrs. Chen, the village's most famous gossip, quickly called out to me. "Hey, little Lily from the Lin family, where are you rushing off to so early in the morning?" I stopped and looked at the group of people, feigning concern. "Oh, Mrs. Chen, you don't know the half of it. I was just about to go check on Kevin. Yesterday, he found a baby at my doorstep and asked me to take care of it, but I don't know anything about childcare. I was going to ask Aunt Hannah for help, but then he took the baby home. I wonder how it is now. And I also heard that Miss Anya, the intellectual from the city, is seriously ill, bedridden at the Chief family's house and unable to get up. I'm so worried, I have to go check on her to feel at ease." After hearing this, the women's eyes widened. I then continued to sigh. "Oh dear, we haven't seen Miss Anya out and about for months. She must be gravely ill. She's usually so amiable and kind. If the situation is truly that serious, why hasn't anyone told the team leader to take her to the county hospital for a checkup?" I sighed as I spoke, leaving the women stunned, but some quickly sniffed out the gravity of the situation. "Little Lily is right. Miss Anya is usually so likable. Now that she's sick, we must go visit her. Come on, I'll go with you," an aunt said, squinting and smiling. Everyone else eagerly agreed. I was overjoyed, worried they wouldn't follow. So I led a boisterous crowd towards the Chief family's house. Along the way, adults and children who heard the news also flocked to watch the spectacle. As I walked, I glanced at the comments scrolling across the screen. What the hell is this? What's wrong with the villainess? Why is she leading a crowd to Kevin's house? What if the truth about the female lead is exposed? She's still bedridden. This wicked villainess definitely has an ulterior motive. Could she already know everything? What kind of plot is this? It's too ridiculous. I'm going crazy. The comments were in absolute chaos, while I, on the other hand, smiled, utterly pleased with myself. Immediately after, we arrived at the Chief family's house. After a few knocks, Kevin, with dark circles under his eyes, came to open the door. Seeing a whole crowd gathered at the gate, he looked stunned. "Hey, Kevin, open the door quickly. We heard you picked up an abandoned baby yesterday, didn't you? Open up and let us see. Who could be so heartless as to abandon a child in this bitter winter?" "Exactly. And we heard that Miss Anya, the intellectual, is getting sicker and sicker. That's not right. Have you called a doctor? We need to inform the team leader. What if something happens to an intellectual from the city in our production team? Who will be responsible? Kevin, open the door." Hearing those words, Kevin's face darkened, but he still forced a smile. "Aunts, where did you hear all these stories? There's no baby. Miss Anya's health is stable. She'll be discharged in just a few days." Looking at Kevin's unnatural expression and insincere tone, how could the experienced village women believe him? "Hey, we never spread rumors. Lily told us all this. Is she lying now?" Exactly. A few aunts moved aside, revealing me standing behind them. The moment Kevin saw me, his expression turned ugly. He forced a smile and said, "Lily, what nonsense have you been telling the aunts? There's no baby." As he spoke, Kevin continuously winked at me, signaling, but I pretended not to notice. I feigned surprise and asked, "Kevin, didn't you knock on my door last night and say you found a child? You even said it was very weak and asked me to look after it, but I don't know anything about caring for children, so you took it back home. Did you lie to me last night? But I clearly heard a baby crying." No, that's not it." Kevin wanted to explain but couldn't find the words. I immediately seized the opportunity to continue. "Kevin, all the aunts here have experience caring for children. Last night you said the baby was very weak, so why don't you let them come in and take a look?" "Exactly, Kevin, let us aunts come in and see. If anything is wrong, we'll inform the village chief." Kevin stood blocking the doorway, unsure what to do, when a woman's voice echoed from inside the house. "What's all this commotion so early in the morning?" The voice was shrill and harsh, like a chicken being slaughtered. It was Kevin's mother, Mrs. Zhang. "Lily Lin, what kind of game are you playing? What's the meaning of bringing a whole crowd to my doorstep to cause trouble? Yesterday you refused to take care of the baby, and now you're bringing people here. What's this all about?" Her voice was loud and indirect, clearly intending to shift all blame for the baby onto me. I immediately retorted, Auntie, what strange things are you saying? I'm simply worried about the Chi family, which is why I came with all the aunts and uncles to visit. A baby abandoned in the middle of the night, its fate unknown, who wouldn't feel bad. And Miss Anya, didn't everyone say she was very ill before? We're just worried. If she's truly unwell, shouldn't she be taken to the county hospital for an examination? If anything happens to these young intellectuals who just arrived from the city, wouldn't our production team become a laughingstock? My words, involving the whole village, made the aunts even more enthusiastic, determined to see the baby and check on Miss Anya's health. Just then, Yenna, Kevin's older sister, stepped out from inside the house. Her voice was shrill and sharp, exactly like her mother's. "Oh, Mother, if anyone in the village wants to see, just let them in. Miss Anya only has a common cold. She's almost recovered and will be fine soon. As for the baby, Lily, you know best, don't you? Do I have to spell out the truth?" As Yenna spoke, she cast a meaningful glance down at my belly. Immediately, all the people standing outside the door turned their curious gazes towards me. Right after, whispers and murmurs began to rise. "Hey, I've noticed Lily has gained weight lately." "That's probably it. She hasn't been out of the house much recently. Maybe she's the one who cried thief, but is actually the thief. What if she secretly got pregnant and then fabricated the story of finding a baby so no one would suspect her?" Hearing the whispers from the crowd, despite having prepared myself, I gritted my teeth in anger. No wonder Kevin had been using the excuse of tutoring me and keeping me locked inside the house recently. Yenna even brought my meals to me. And Mrs. Zhang had been unusually kind, personally sewing several loose-fitting padded jackets for me to wear. At the time, I was touched, but who knew it was all preparation for this very day? The loose padded jackets, combined with my rare outings, made it even easier for everyone to believe the child was mine. Thinking of this, my anger surged again, and I ground my teeth. Nevertheless, I managed to maintain a calm expression and said with a smile, "Well then, please excuse us, Yenna. We can only feel at ease if we see it with our own eyes." "HMPH," Yenna scoffed coldly and opened the door for us to enter. As the crowd stepped into the yard, the muffled cries of a baby echoed from inside the room. Several aunts quickly pushed open the door and rushed in first, only to see a baby curled up on the bed, its skin purplish from the cold, crying until utterly exhausted. "Oh my goodness, how pitiful. Why is this baby so cold? Why didn't the Chi family make some porridge or thin congee for it to eat?" Mrs. Zhang forced a laugh, replying in a half-joking, half-serious tone. "Oh dear. The porridge is ready, but this little one doesn't seem to be used to strangers and won't feed." As she spoke, she turned to me, sighing helplessly. "Lily, why don't you try feeding the baby? After all, it's a living soul, we can't just abandon it." I gave a faint smile. "Aunt Zhang, that's a strange thing to say. I didn't give birth to this baby, so do you really think it will feed if I give it something? I think we should report this to the police so they can find out who would heartlessly abandon their child like this. What if the baby isn't abandoned but just lost? Its parents must be terribly worried right now." Hearing me say that, the doubts that had just flared up in people's minds immediately subsided. That's right, if it were truly an unmarried woman who secretly gave birth and abandoned her child, how could she dare to loudly suggest calling the police? It must be that the Chi family had no ill intentions, it's just a misunderstanding. Noticing the villagers wavering, I secretly rejoiced. Mrs. Zhang, on the other hand, had an ugly expression. She scoffed, then turned to scold her daughter. "You jinx! Aren't you going to bring the porridge out? Are you trying to let your nephew starve?" The moment she finished speaking, she seemed to realize she had misspoken, quickly covered her mouth, and rushed to correct herself. "Sisters, don't misunderstand. My foolish son, being young and naive, accidentally picked up the baby and even said he felt a connection, wanting to adopt it." These words were like adding fuel to the fire, causing everyone's curiosity to erupt more fiercely than ever. Some even started giving me sidelong glances, as if they were certain that I was the one who had given birth and then cruelly abandoned the child. Just then, a young man who had been watching silently suddenly spoke up. "Oh, Kevin, I remember a few months ago you often took Lily to the county, didn't you? I kept meaning to ask, where did you two go?" The speaker was Sean, Kevin's cousin, who usually treated me with indifference. At the same time, the comments section on the screen was no less lively. "Oh, it's little Sean. Normally, the male and female leads treat him so well. Now he's siding with them, so touching." Little Sean is truly the devoted second male lead of this story. So kind-hearted. She deserves it, that villainess. Who told her to make such a big fuss? It seems little Sean was the one who hid the villainess's university admission letter and even encouraged the kind-hearted female lead to go to university in the city in her place. At first, the female lead was even going to drop out to find work in high city to support the male lead. Only right before the departure date did little Sean give them the letter. What a surprise! The type of person like the villainess going to university would only cause trouble. The female lead going in her place is a blessing. Reading those comments, my heart tightened. A university admission letter. No one had mentioned this yesterday. It turned out I had passed the university entrance exam. The admission letter had simply been hidden by Sean. And if he only gave the letter to Anya right before they left, it meant the letter was still in his hands. I absolutely had to get it back. Thinking of this, my heart ached, but I tried to maintain a calm facade. Regarding the current situation, thanks to Sean's words, everyone's suspicions flared up once again. I swallowed my anger, ignored the crowd's scrutinizing glances, and feigned concern. All right, everyone's seen enough here. Let's go visit Miss Anya, the intellectual. We haven't seen her in months, and Kevin even said she's seriously ill. We should go as representatives of the production team to check on her, lest the young intellectuals get disheartened. That's right, Comrade Lily is correct. Let's go see. The noisy group shuffled towards Anya's room. As we reached the door, we saw Kevin, his face contorted with anxiety, blocking the entrance. Miss Anya is still ill. The doctor said her illness might be contagious, so everyone should visit another day, lest you catch it. How could I let him have his way? Kevin, what you're saying isn't right. Miss Anya is our comrade, working alongside us. Are we supposed to abandon her and not visit just because she's seriously ill? That would be like cowardly abandoning a fellow comrade, wouldn't it? And your family generously allowed her to stay and recuperate, even caring for her so attentively. How can we be afraid and not visit her? I see everyone in your family is perfectly healthy. Perhaps people are just being overly concerned. Maybe the illness isn't easily contagious. As soon as I finished speaking, everyone began scrutinizing the members of the Chi family. Seeing that everyone was healthy and robust, all suspicions immediately vanished. A hot-tempered aunt pushed the door open and stepped in. Others followed suit. Fortunately, Anya's room was relatively spacious, almost the largest, second only to the Chi family's master bedroom, so a dozen or so people still had enough space to stand comfortably. At this moment, Anya lay weakly on the bed, her face pale, startling the entire crowd. Her room was meticulously tidied, with absolutely no signs that she had just given birth. I pushed through the crowd and sat down beside the bed. As soon as I got close, I detected a faint scent of blood. I quickly feigned worry. "Sister Anya, what illness do you have? You look very serious." "No, this won't do. I think we must call the team to borrow a car and take you to the county hospital for an examination." Anya forced a smile. It was clear she didn't want to go to the hospital at this moment, especially after just giving birth. She tried to appear frail, her voice soft. "No need, Comrade Lily. Uncle Chi's family already took me for a checkup. The doctor prescribed medicine. I'll feel better after a few days." After saying this, she deliberately coughed a few times, feigning concern. "Thank you all, aunts and uncles, for visiting, but the doctor warned that my illness might be contagious. Everyone should leave. I'd be truly sorry if I accidentally infected anyone." "Yes, that's right. Let's let the intellectual rest. We'll go outside now." Just as everyone was preparing to leave, I suddenly cried out, "Sister Anya, what's wrong with you?" Immediately, all eyes turned towards me. While Anya was still bewildered, I quickly pulled back the blanket covering her. "Oh my God, Sister Anya, why is it so bloody underneath you? Someone quickly take her to the hospital, she's injured." Everyone was shocked by the scene before their eyes. They saw the thick blanket beneath Anya was soaked through with reddish-brown blood. Anya's face froze. She tried to snatch the blanket back, but I quickly dodged away. "Aunts, uncles, come quickly and see. What's wrong with Sister Anya? Is the Chi family mistreating her?" I shouted towards the door. "Quickly call the team leader. We must seize this opportunity to borrow a car and immediately take Miss Anya, the intellectual, to the hospital." My shout echoed, drawing the crowd gathered outside to push open the door and surge in. Many people witnessed the scene inside, and everyone was terrified. Several young men frantically ran to find the team leader. The Chi family was completely stunned by the unexpected turn of events. Before they could recover, the room was packed with people. Kevin tried to push his way in but was blocked by some young intellectuals who demanded he explain himself clearly. At this point, The experienced village women who had delivered babies examined Anya's condition and immediately realized something was amiss. "Oh my God, just by looking, you can tell Miss Anya, the intellectual isn't sick. She's clearly just given birth. This is definitely postpartum discharge. What else is there to doubt?" "I told you so." The Chi family is so stingy, yet suddenly they're so kind-hearted, letting someone stay to recuperate and even taking in a baby as their own. It turns out they were just trying to cover up their mess, thinking everyone is easily fooled. The entire crowd began to whisper and point at the Chi family. The commotion reverberated even outside. Knowing the team leader would soon arrive, I slipped out of the crowd and ran into the yard. As I ran, I cried bitterly, wailing in agony, "Kevin, why? Why did you treat me like this? I am your fiancé, the one you've been betrothed to since childhood. No wonder. So that's why you brought the baby to my door last night, demanding I help take care of it. No wonder you kept using tutoring as an excuse to keep me confined at home recently. No wonder you kept finding excuses to take me to the county months ago, without any real errands. 18 years of engagement. And yet, the first time your mother sewed padded jackets for me, she deliberately made them baggy. No wonder today she and your sister spoke so ambiguously, trying to push this baby onto me so everyone would mistake it as mine. At the time, I thought I was overthinking it. Who knew this child was truly from the Chi family, your child with Anya? Hiccup, sob, I don't want to live anymore. Oh God, Chi family, don't you fear divine retribution? I choked on my sobs while the surrounding crowd looked at me with deep pity. Kevin, utterly drained of color, stepped forward to stop me, but I shoved him away forcefully. "Don't touch me, I'm too dirty." Still sobbing, I yelled, "Everyone, look at this. This is how the Chi family treats their son's fiancé. My parents, when they were alive, were so good to him." Kevin's high school tuition was even paid for with the compensation money from my parents' car accident. And what was the result? This is how the Chi family repays me. Knowing he couldn't stop me anymore, Kevin yelled, "Lily, that's not it. Listen to me explain. That baby, that baby." My face was icy cold. "What about that baby? Are you trying to say it's not yours and Anya's? If it's not from the Chi family, then why did you let her give birth and recuperate right here? No wonder I haven't seen her face for months. It turns out she was secretly giving birth in the house." Seeing the situation spiraling out of control, the entire Chi family glared at me with resentment. Only Mrs. Zhang angrily roared, "Lily Lin, are you insisting on causing chaos in my family's house? If you stop right now, I'll let Kevin marry you. Otherwise, don't blame the Chi family for breaking off the engagement." I sneered inwardly. She thought I was making a scene because I still loved Kevin and was using our engagement to threaten me. How ridiculous. I remained silent, and Mrs. Zhang, conversely, grew smug. "If you stop right now, tomorrow I'll tell Kevin to marry you immediately." I feigned distress, asking with a trembling voice, "What about the baby then?" She paused for a second, then immediately sneered. "Anya's child isn't part of our family, it was just an accident. The Chi family felt sorry for her, so we let her stay. Listen carefully, although the baby isn't Kevin's, he's kind-hearted and willing to adopt it as his own." I pretended not to hear anything, then suddenly raised my voice. "What? Aunt Zhang, did you just say Anya's child isn't part of the Chi family? Then that baby is." I deliberately looked stunned, my tone indirect and full of insinuation. In these times, a woman's honor is more important than her life. An unmarried girl who gets pregnant and doesn't even know who the father is will certainly be scorned and slandered by society forever. I looked directly at Kevin, each word like a knife. "If that baby isn't yours, then Anya secretly gave birth with some nameless, lowly man, didn't she? I can't raise a child whose father is unknown. What if its father is a murderer or a robber? As I see it, Anya doesn't deserve to stay in the production team. Her presence pollutes this place. That baby, too, should be sent away." Hearing this, Kevin's face turned red with anger. Finally, he couldn't hold back any longer and roared, "Shut up, that baby is mine and Anya's. You truly are a vicious woman. How can you so heartlessly slander another's honor like that, Lily Lin? I'm telling you, Anya is 1,000 times more gentle, kind, cheerful, and dynamic than you. I love her openly and honestly. Both families have already agreed to this matter. In just a few days, I'll be registering our marriage with her. You're making a fuss today simply because you know I won't marry you, and that's why you're going crazy, isn't it?" Kevin spoke wildly, jumping from one point to another. The people around looked at each other, bewildered. No one believed what he was saying. Of course, I wouldn't let him easily gloss over the matter. Kevin, today your family even tried to pin the shame of having an illegitimate child on me. I cannot overlook this. With that, I immediately turned to the team leader, crying as I spoke, "Team leader, please bear witness for me. I want to break off the engagement. I can no longer be entangled with this chief family." Kevin sneered, "Break it off then, you're no stranger to me." The team leader looked at the chaotic scene before him, sighed deeply, and finally nodded in agreement. In his presence, Kevin and I officially severed our engagement. In truth, it was only a verbal engagement. Whether it was broken off or not didn't really matter, but I still wanted to completely cut ties with that family. After the engagement was broken, the entire chief family glared at me with hatred, but I wasn't about to let them off easy. I smiled coldly. "The engagement is over, but I remember very clearly how you slandered me today. I will report this to the police to resolve the matter. And Kevin, for all these years, you've eaten my family's food, drunk my family's water. Before, I didn't ask for repayment, considering it thanks for your mother saving mine years ago. Although, honestly, given her selfish nature, I don't truly believe she genuinely wanted to save anyone. But fine, I let it all go. Now, things are different. Kevin, I want you to return all the tuition fees and living expenses that I used my parents' accident compensation money to put you through high school. That money belonged to me and my fiancé. But now, he's no longer my fiancé. Are you saying the Chief family is so brazen that you want to seize that money too?" Hearing this, Kevin was dumbfounded, his face immediately turning crimson. "How much do you want?" I raised one hand, indicating the number 3. 300 yuan. 300. "Are you trying to rob us? Don't even think about it." Mrs. Zhang shrieked furiously. "You won't agree?" I curled my lip into a cold smile. "Then let's meet at the police station. Today you falsely accused me, and everyone will have to go there to explain clearly." As for Kevin, engaging in illicit affairs with another person and even having a child before breaking off an engagement, I think this is enough to constitute disturbing public order, and it serves you right to be dealt with by the law. Who are you trying to scare? The Chief family isn't easily intimidated. Seeing that the Chief family still intended to cause a fuss, the village chief suddenly roared, "Enough! Are you trying to take this to the police? You have no shame, but our village still needs to save face. Chief family, pay the girl the money immediately or get out of this village." The village chief's words still carried weight. The Chief family, afraid of being hated by the entire village, finally reluctantly gave me 300 yuan. I took the money without bothering to say another word, turned, and walked away. But things were still unfinished. I still had to reclaim my university admission letter. After that incident, the Chief family immediately became the talk of the entire village. The whole family lived withdrawn, like quails, for several days. During that time, something unexpected happened. Sean, on his way back to the village from the county, was robbed. He was ambushed from behind, sustained a severe head injury, and all his valuables, including his jacket, were stolen. He was left by the roadside, shivering in the bushes, suffering from a severe cold that required days of hospital treatment, and his health significantly declined. Taking advantage of this opportunity, I quietly retrieved my university admission letter. Looking at the paper that had almost been destroyed, my eyes welled up with emotion. How strange. Suddenly, I think what the villainess did was right. After being treated like that, who could bear it? Oh my God, the villainess's counterattack is spectacular, turning the tables and becoming the female lead herself. So annoying, bad script. The male and female leads aren't innocent anymore. Drop the story. The villainess should know her place. Don't try to turn the tables in vain. As a loyal fan, I've always supported Kevin and Anya, hoping they can successfully overcome future difficulties. The ones above will surely wait until their eyes fall out and still won't see that happen. I indifferently observed the comments that poured in. I didn't pay any attention to what they said. In fact, I felt lucky that they had helped me awaken in time. After receiving my admission letter, I began packing my belongings to go to High City for university. During that time, the Chief family also fell into no less a chaotic state. Without me to care for the children, cook, and do laundry, the Chief family immediately opposed Kevin and Anya going to High City for school. They presented 2 options. Either Anya had to bring her child to the city, or she and her child had to stay in the countryside. Naturally, Anya completely disagreed. And Kevin, although he always claimed to love her, when his family's interests were affected, it was no surprise. He chose to side with his family. In the end, Anya was forced to stay in the village. I pulled my suitcase alone and began my journey to university in High City. Coincidentally, Kevin also attended the same university. When we met, I pretended not to know him. In my second year of university, I accidentally saw Kevin with a young, beautiful girl, as radiant as a flower. She was as fresh as a rose, with a brilliant smile. My roommate happened to know the girl and told me she was a genuine rich heiress from High City. By my final year, my friends and I pooled our resources to open a small company, keeping us busy day and night. The next time I heard about Kevin was when someone mentioned he was about to marry the daughter of a wealthy man in High City. Hearing this, I just sneered. As expected, his true nature hadn't changed. Male and female leads, really? Without someone to step on, their love isn't worth anything. I sent someone to call the village and inform Anya. Not long after, I heard that Anya, leading a thin little girl with half her face burned, crashed Kevin's wedding. It was said that the Chi family favored sons over daughters, and Anya's lack of experience in childcare led to the girl getting burned while lighting a fire to cook. Everyone's luck is interconnected. After her face was disfigured, their daughter became increasingly withdrawn and melancholic. From the precious little one, in the comments, she turned into an unlucky doll, bringing misfortune to anyone who came near her. The wedding disruption was more successful than expected. The bride's family consisted of influential figures in High City, so of course, they couldn't accept their daughter marrying such a heartless man. The wedding was canceled. Kevin lost his opportunity to climb into high society and also lost his standing in High City. It was rumored that he then drifted to many other cities, while Anya increasingly clung to him, always suspicious and frequently causing trouble at his workplaces. Nothing he did succeeded. Finally, Kevin could no longer endure this dead-end life and had to bring Anya and their child back to the village. Both of them remained complete failures. After half a lifetime of arduous struggle, they ultimately lived a meager existence, barely scraping by day to day.